Sir, we are live. We are live. So yeah, bro. How's your day today so far, man? Stuff going good?
Yeah, it's been good, man. I had a little bit of a slow morning. Um, Kind of just like it was kind of got interrupted last night, like with my sleep. So it took me a little while to kind of like get back to sleep and kind of get my morning started. But I got up and I kind of got after it. Um, I got a pretty good workout in, and I had like a staff meeting at my gym that I work at, and so now I'm kind of just working on about to post some content up on my page today. And yeah, man, no complaints.
That's what's up. That's what's up,
What
man.
about you?
Uh, been a good day so far. Every day is a great day.
Hmm.
Shit, it was late night last night. I had to get like a late workout session in. I was in there like 2 in the morning because I had another opportunity. I'm about to start doing out in Dallas, working with couple people out there. More info coming soon for sure. Once it's official, I don't like to jinx nothing, but yeah, just had to do that. Long day, but feel good this morning. Even though I didn't get much sleep, I feel pretty energized. I like kind of waking up to when I wake up. Sometimes you wake
Hmm.
up early and you still be like rested, and then just because your alarm doesn't say it's time to get up yet, people go back to sleep. Uh,
Right.
it's like if you're up, you just get up. So that was kind of like this morning. It was just like I was up, ready to go. So
Yeah.
yeah, it usually indicates you're in the right place too, like doing the right shit, energized, like your body's ready for it. You're excited
Yeah.
about the day, um, for sure. But
So,
yeah,
so real quick, would you say you're more like free spirited in that aspect of like sometimes like you don't need necessarily need to follow the plan, or are you kind of like more like stick to the script heavy?
me personally, yeah, I'm more free spirit. I would aspire to be more stick to the plan. I feel like that's a better
Yeah.
way. Um,
Yeah.
but I'm probably definitely more free spirited at the moment. Um,
Yeah.
yeah, how about you? You more
I'm more sticking to the script, but I'm wanting to start heading towards like a happy medium with certain things because sticking to the script is like it's important within like the career mode and with like the grind mode and stuff, but there also comes a point in time where like sometimes you get so lost in it and so focused on it that at least for me it becomes a mental battle because I'm a big thinker. I and that can be a pro and a con, but
yeah,
sometimes I feel like I put so much pressure on sticking to the routine that if I don't, I try to become a free spirit for even just a day. I'm not like totally like at peace with that completely yet. And so that hurts me, I think, in the aspect of I don't allow myself a lot of like like true downtime
yeah,
and true time away from it. So that's why like that's what I'm trying to work on right now. Which is a good thing to work on because like I understand that I have the discipline, I have the works like down. Now it's just getting the other side of it down, which is what most people I feel like are have it flipped. Because
yeah,
most people are, you know what I mean?
yeah.
So I'm trying to find like that happy medium of like understanding that like I do need a break here and there, but yeah, I'm still trying to work on finding that ground.
Got you. It's crazy you say that. Literally crazy. I don't know. Are you looking at the Google Doc?
I'm pulling it up right now, but I don't see it yet.
Okay, that's crazy because that's literally what I wrote down today. It was just like talking about like balance and like self-care and just like how to find that happy medium. So like that's how I know we're on the same wavelength
Yeah,
with everything, definitely. Uh
let's go then. Let's dive right in.
yes, sir. So yeah, if y'all been tuning in so far, man, welcome to episode 4 of the Prosper Performance Podcast. I'm one of the hosts, Jave, here with my boy Gabe, co-host. We're about to get into it, man. We're about to dive straight into it. Before we get into it, is that a new chain?
No, I've had this. I just
Okay.
normally sometimes I like wearing it underneath,
Yeah,
and I like showing it like in the back because I feel like everyone can wear it in the front. But like, I was working out and it kind of just popped out, and I just left it like that.
got you. It's
But
fire. I like it. Got
thank you.
eyes for it. But yeah, so that's kind of the direction of kind of what we're going today is just talking about the balance and the self-care aspect. Once we're in the grind stages, this topic really stemmed from actually I had reposted on Instagram a Nipsey Hussle quote where he was like you know basically like the growing pains of like you know the pressure of trying to become better, trying to become the best version of yourself, feeling overwhelmed at times like that. And then just like, what's the flip side of that, of just like decompressing and realizing that, in my opinion, it's all a game at the end of the day. Like, I don't take life too serious, we're gonna die one day.
Yeah.
So it's like, yeah. So if you want to just touch, I know you say you've been struggling with it, but is there any ways that you do kind of find ways to keep that balance, or like self-care stuff that you tend to do, or anything like that?
Yeah. So really, it started this year for me, because I went like, so I started my business in June of last year. So it's really been a year, like as of yesterday, like full go. And
Congrats.
thank you, sir. Thank
Major
you.
milestone.
So
Yes, sir.
yeah, big time. And so leading up to that point, like I didn't have a rest time. Like I didn't have that figured out. So starting in January, like I gave, like when the high school season ended football, in like December, like early December, I gave like all the guys that I trained like 2 weeks off of doing nothing with me. And then literally the first week of January happened and we kicked it off. And I went like 23 weeks straight. And that was 23 weeks of like, I would coach at this gym like 5 days a week or 4 days a week. And then I'd have like maybe a Friday or something off. And then Saturday, Sunday are all my days. And I went like 23, 24 weeks straight with that.
Mm.
And like towards the last 2 weeks of that, like probably week 23 and week 24, like that was when you and I had talked. And I was like, I'm really like, I'm in the thick of it. Like I don't feel motivated. I don't feel any of this right now. And so that's when I really like kind of created this thing of having my Friday completely off, even to the point of like, if I have a new client call me, if I have something like it's going to voicemail or I'm making them text me about it, like I can only do so much because it came to the point now and I'm still in this mode where like I don't sleep anymore
Yeah.
like that well. And it takes me a lot like in order to prep to go to sleep,
Yeah.
because like I'll lay in bed and I'm like, I'll have a drill that pops in my mind that I need to write down or I need to put in, or I have like a route that I want to work on, or I have something where I'm just laying in bed. Like I have no reason to be thinking about it. And I'm just thinking about football. Like,
Yeah.
and it's bad because it kills my hours of sleep to the point also where like I'll dream about it and I'll wake up in the middle of the night, like 2, 3 a.m. and I'm still thinking about it. Or like sometimes I'll go to sleep like with a migraine at night
Yeah.
because I'm putting so much pressure and so much things on myself. So, and one of the reasons why I feel like it became to this point is because I was paying attention to a lot of these like celebrities and a lot of these successful entrepreneurs who happen to have celebrities like Rick Ross, Nipsey Hussle, whatever. They always talk about like continuously working and working. And so I internalized that as never taking a break because they never really
Mhm.
talked about that. There's not enough really talk about that, about like, yeah, you need to put this work in, but you also need to like also take care of yourself and understand that like if you don't, then that work is just going to become shittier and shittier and shittier,
Mhm.
and half-assed. So it took me like my own guidance to kind of sit back and be like, I need to change something or else like I'm going to start hating this, you know?
And
And I preach longevity, like within my career and within my work. And that's like the quickest way to lose longevity is like not taking breaks and not giving yourself time. And honestly, one of the things I was scared of is like taking a break and coming back feeling like I didn't like unmotivated or feeling like I didn't want to do anything anymore. But what really happened is like when I came back from my little trip, like the next day of, like I was ready to roll. Like I had energy and like everything had come back to me.
mhm.
So and that's the thing, like that's with this topic, like it's very, very like general, because
Mhm.
like self-care for you might look different than self-care for me. Like self-care for me might just be like I always try and go on walks at night, or like I'll go out of town for like a weekend, or like I'll just go see, like I'll go hang out with my friends and like just not talk about really that much about what I'm doing, or things like that. So, or sometimes it's also having conversations like if you and me are hitting it up like one-on-one, like off the podcast, like just talking, or if I'm like with two of my other friends back here at home, like who are entrepreneurs and who work their ass off too. Like sometimes those talks are kind of self-care for me because I know that they're going through very similar things that I'm going through.
Mhm.
So it kind of pushes me. So if I need that push, and I'm like, if you or like one of my other friends who's an entrepreneur is like, yo, I made this big move, like this happened, I'm like, I got to get on my shit now. Like
Mhm.
it keeps me at that level. So
Mhm.
that's also another form of it for me.
And I think that's real powerful what you said. It's like it may look different for you than a lot of other people, you feel me? Because it's self-care. Like that's what it is.
Yeah,
It's care for self. And you have to understand what that looks like for you to even do it. So like that's just a word before, we get to the thick of what we do and our own experiences. It's like, take what we say but don't take it as gospel and like you have to do this, you have to do walks, or you have to have these conversations. Self-care is different for everybody. And
right.
also, you know uh you brought up that it's not talked about enough. I think that you're an anomaly in that case. Like you're that rare breed that has that go-getter and can just do it, you know automatically and tap into that mode fully. I feel like in our generation, like we've talked about it before, is just that a lot of us don't have it and just are lazy. Like I'm gonna just keep it a stat. So like that work hustle mindset, I think that's why it's there, because a lot of people aren't working hard enough. Like you go to sleep dreaming about your dream. Like that's nuts. Like, that's
Yeah.
like something super powerful. That's how you're dedicated. You do it all day. You're thinking about it. Like you're in it. You feel me? So
Hmm.
like for you, those that one day off is like super powerful and can help you, tap back into that mindset. But for a lot of people, they're not going to sleep thinking about the dream. They're going to sleep watching Netflix. They're going to sleep, doing whatever else
Right.
it is. So it's like, yes, it needs to be encouraged. But if you are feeling burnt out, I think that's where the self-care and that can get emphasized. So like me personally, um my self-care looks really self. So like I'm introverted at heart, honestly. Like I enjoy solitude. So like um that's kind of my self-care. Like I like to do things alone and maybe go on a hike or a nature trail. That's what I was doing for a while. I think I'm gonna get back into that. Like my Sunday routine, I would go to a trail, bring my journal out and just journal for the week and just be in nature and just
Hmm.
vibe. I really enjoy music and just like stuff that makes you feel good. And just I think the big thing with self-care is eliminating the worry from your mind. Like, because you'll have those thoughts on your self-care days, or like even when you're meditating. Like I like to just sit and meditate and just let myself think, let myself work out these thoughts.
Hmm.
It's really powerful, like crazy. But I think that's super important. It's just when the thoughts come up of, oh, I gotta be doing this, or what's next, or planning, or those thoughts, how you said that you were up thinking about, oh, I gotta get this new route down, and this new drill and stuff like that.
Yeah.
It's like being able to detach from those as soon as they come up and say, nope, this is chill day, I don't care. Like
Yeah.
that's super
Yeah.
powerful. Like, no, this is chill day, no, not
Yeah.
thinking about it. So yeah, I think you're
You
spot
should
on.
you should expand on your what you were telling me about like the schedule you have for like it's like you were saying it's like 4 weeks on and an off week or something. Like what was that again that you said? I'm
Yeah,
gonna write this down.
I heard it from somebody. I forgot who. I love to give credit where it's due, but I forgot who told me. But basically like, scheduling your off days. So like, if you're having the rest of your time scheduled when you're working, you should be scheduling those off days too. So like
Yeah.
once a week, take off a day. Um, once every quarter, take off at least like a weekend. And 3 days, go somewhere else, really take off work. And then once a year, take off a week. uh, and
Hmm.
then just detach and fully be out of it for a week, let it chill. Or even if that's not enough for people, you can take it a step further and do once a week, take off a day, once a month, take off a weekend, once a quarter, take off a week, once a year, take off 2 weeks or something like that. It's
Yeah.
really molded towards you. I like the latter, the former, so the first one more, just because you should be taking enjoyment with your work too, to where that extended period of time is not needed, in my opinion.
Right.
That's just how
Right.
I want my life to be. Like I want to be in work mode a lot and take pride and enjoy my work enough to where I only need a weekend or like a week, and then I'm like antsy to get back to it. Like
Right.
I feel
Right.
like 2 weeks off of just doing nothing, that's like almost cancer. Like that's like a every 5 year thing, and then like every 10
Yeah.
years take off a month or something like that. But that's about it. Yeah.
No, I think that's real too, because I think that's very like it's very solid. And at least for me, I like that because it's like it's just how I roll, like a schedule and like plotting things and like putting them down. So like I'm definitely gonna start taking a note of that because I think that that's very beneficial. Also, you should explain real quick what a quarter is, just so in case people don't know what that is.
Yeah. So like every 3 months. So year is broken down into 4 quarters. So every 3 months it's like January to April, May to July, September to October, October through the rest of the year. I
Hmm.
think. Correct me
Yeah.
if I'm wrong, somebody, but yeah, just breaking down the year into those 4 quarters. And also that's like another mindset you can go into. You know, we grew up in a sports background, so we understand that perfect. Like, recognize what quarter you're in. At halftime, take a halftime break. Really
Hmm.
reflect. Make sure you're on pace of, okay, is there any adjustments I have to make for the next year? At the end of a quarter, take a break. A smaller
Hmm.
break and maybe a less detailed break, but still a break, and recognize that you're still on par for the next quarter. You feel me? So it's like it's a lot of this stuff is synonymous: sports, business, music, entrepreneurship. All this stuff is synonymous in a way, and can yeah, you can take tricks and tools of the trade from each. You feel me?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think I wanted to ask that too, because I think that you pointed out the quarter, like that's very important. I wish that someone would have pointed that out to me like, a lot earlier on. That's
Hmm.
why I wanted to make a point out of it, because I think also this is great advice for like entrepreneurs who are people who are just wanting to start somewhere
Hmm.
and not want to feel overwhelmed. Looking and setting goals for each quarter instead of trying to make goals for a year is a great way to start. Go like getting your feet wet, because then you don't feel overwhelmed that you have to like by that year long thing. You
Hmm.
can set a little bit smaller goals for each quarter, and you'll see growth a lot faster because you're just taking it bit by bit instead of trying to eat the whole damn thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Facts. And
So
even to take it a step further with that concept of just like bending time. So like, I try to study great entrepreneurs, stuff like that. And a lot of them have this ideology of bending time, molding it to themselves. Like time is really an illusion. Like who said somebody just made up however many years ago that, oh, a day is 24 hours, oh, a month is 30 days. Like, it's
yeah.
really just an endless present, really. But I took this one concept from Ed Milet, high
Mm,
performance entrepreneur. You know about him?
mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mess with Ed. Real good stuff, like actual, a lot of these people be having fluff and stuff like that. But no,
Yeah, he
he's got,
just gives it.
yeah, he's got it. And he bends time by his one day, he breaks up in 3 days. So his first day is from 6 in the morning to 12, and he schedules it like it's a full day. So all the meetings he has to do, talking to relationships, everything. And he takes tally of what he's doing every hour, of
Damn.
like if he's on track with that. The next day from 6 to 6. So I mean from 12 to 6. So that's a
Yeah.
whole nother day. He schedules as many meetings as he can. He thinks about it like a day. He doesn't think in terms of 24-hour days. Like that's a foreign concept to him at this point. You feel me? He's
Yeah.
been doing it 20 plus years, whatever. And the last part of the day is 6 to 12. So that's
Yeah.
a whole nother day. And packs it all in much as he can, fills it up, and makes it a day. And, if he's getting 3 days to everybody else's one, to where we're scheduling a whole 24 hours of a day, just think about how much 3 times the progress over a 20-year period, that's why he's a, multi-centimillionaire with all these different
Damn.
businesses and crazy houses on the hill, all this different stuff, because it's like accelerating faster than people, you know
Right.
bend that time to your will. Like, it's fake. Like, make up something that works for you. Try to cram as much. Um, yeah, I just wanted to say that since we was on that type of concept of just like time and just,
Yeah.
you know, think
That's
because like
real game.
yeah. And
What were you gonna say?
there's another book. I haven't read it yet, but just the concept and the title itself can kind of put you in the mindset of the same things. Is It's called the 12-week year. Um,
Mm-hmm.
so what's 12 weeks? That's 3 months, so a quarter.
Mm-hmm.
So condensing your yearly goals into quarter goals. So like just how you said, instead of it's two ends of the spectrum, you know, you don't want to overwhelm yourself with a yearly goal, so you make it a quarter, or you just take your yearly goal and make it a quarter goal. And then
Right.
I'll just change your habits. That'll change your weekly goals. That'll change your daily goals. That'll change what you have to do to meet that requirement. So you
Mm-hmm.
know, just time is malleable. You know, figure out what you
Yeah.
do want to do, type shit.
That leads me to another point too. There's a book by Grant Cardone called The 10X Rule, and he's not like it's an entrepreneur book about thinking in things of 10 times. So for example, like if I'm trying to hire like get more people to train with me, instead of like calling 5 people in a day, I'm calling 10 times 5, right? And
Yeah,
making 50 calls and doing that with every action I take. And basically the method is like you cannot fail with doing that much work every single time. And
yeah,
so it's kind of connecting with that about when you said taking a year goal and putting into a quarter, like that's literally what it is. Just
yeah.
thinking and thinking in terms of 10x, like how can I maximize this times 10 to get more results? You
That's
know,
fire.
so that's a great book for any entrepreneurs for you to read as well too if you like it. I felt like when I was reading that book at night in that phase or in that time span, I was like the most motivated I've ever been so far was when I was reading that book.
Fire, fire. Hold up. You there?
Yeah.
Y'all go tap
Yeah.
in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
I'm where we at? Where we at?
And the thing I like it too, and the reason why I like this Ed Milet so much is because it's not sugar coated to you, you know, and it's not like they're giving it to you like a dick, but like they're understanding and they realize that like what they're saying is not just like, oh, I did it, you can do it, you know.
Yeah,
They give you, they like let you know that like you're gonna have to feel uncomfortable, you're gonna have to like it's gonna hurt for a bit, but their results and like the way that they live their life, and even if you just follow them on Instagram like I do too, like Grant is literally in some tropical island every single week, you know what I
yeah,
mean, and like that's the thing, like he still gets his work done. And there's just it shows you too that there's levels to this, like to the entrepreneur life and to like the business life and to like just being successful.
yeah.
And even like a small example is my mentor was just on vacation in Florida for a week, and like he only goes on like probably one trip a year. And he went with his family, and he like literally during that vacation time was up at 5 a.m. every single day and literally wrote like all these different workouts that we're gonna use in the gym, like all these different things, like while he's still on vacation. So like that's why I say there's levels to this. Like
Mm,
there's levels to like a vacation. There's levels to like that, and that really comes down to like how
that's a
bad
bar.
you want it.
That's a
How
bar.
bad do you want it? You know,
Yeah.
like bro, this he's in Florida. Their hotel was on the beach, like, and it
It's
just
even
takes
levels
different.
to
And
your vacations. That's a bar.
Yeah, yeah, and like I got to give it to him because I don't even know if I'm at that level yet. You know,
Yeah.
like because that takes a lot. Like because when you're out of that place physically and like mentally, like that's when you really get a true test to like how motivated and how bad you want it. You know, like when you're out of the zone, when you're out of your routine, you're out of like you're not at the gym, you're not at your house like where you used to be, and you're in a whole nother space where there's a lot of distractions and there's a lot of temptations to like, you know, like there's just different sides to it, man. There's just levels to like where you're at mentally and like just what your hunger is like.
Yeah. And like that's definitely like right now when I think about entrepreneurship and doing that, that's kind of I'm not on that level, like you said. Like that's out of reach for me right now. But
Mm-hmm.
I know that you can work up to something like that because now, like literally when I was in Vegas, I was fiending to work out. So I went down to the hotel gym in Vegas and worked out and like got a workout in. Like
Mm-hmm.
you can get to that level with stuff, and that just I just had that click in my head. I'm like, damn, I'm not on that level. Like,
Yeah.
even the vacation, I literally check out, but yeah, that's just like a whole nother level that you could tap into. And I really why I think I resonate with like Grant and Ed Milet and people like that is because they got the track record. They're like Grant Cardone's like 65, Ed Milet's like 50 plus, they've been
Mm-hmm.
doing it 20, 30 years. This is tried and true. Like what they live by. Like it's not, we got a lot of fake gurus nowadays that just, go on and like try to teach from not experience. You know, I like saying that's why I feel like myself when I try to like give game or whatever it may be, I like to put in my experience and then what I've heard from other people. So like
Right.
separate the two. Like this is what I'm going through right now. This is what I experienced in the past, how I got to this, and then this is what I've been hearing from other people that I would like to implement maybe. But with them, it's like all tried and true track record. They got the houses to show for it. They got the cars to show for it. They take the vacations to show for it. They got the net worth to show for it. Like, you know, like check who we listening to, you know?
Right.
Yeah.
That's big.
Yeah.
That's big.
They like vets
That's,
in the game. Yeah. I mean,
yeah.
it's just like that. Like this, the veteran concept, like back to sports. It's just like, you know, a rookie may have the skill, but they don't got the veteran savvy. They don't know the real in and outs of the game until they tap in with
efficiency.
that. Yeah. So they tap in with that vet. And you know, how are you doing? How did you you know, stay in the game the longest? Because like you said, it's the longevity aspect too. A rookie may come in, you know, trying to jump over everybody, dunk, and be like, "Oh, this different stuff." Like, why you? The vet might come through. Why you ain't just do a layup? You trying to
Right.
jump over him? You could have got hurt. You know, tore your ACL, be out for 5 years. Why didn't you just do a layup?
Right.
I was trying to show. I was just want. Yeah. So it's like I love those parallels. Like just growing up in that background, like I heavy in music, sports. So like that's where I get a lot of my keys and try to just apply it to different parts of life.
Right. And I think that's where you and we connected like early on, was that, and having that understanding. And we had talked about this before, like in private, but talking about like why do not more of us as people take advantage of like the people who've made it, who like are giving back with their voice and with their, like, why are we not listening and internalizing what they're saying more, especially the proven ones? Like if you really think about it, like why is Grant and why is Ed, like why are they not known by everyone and not just entrepreneurs and like the people who are hungry? Like why, you know what I mean? Like why are these types of things, like why are they only known by like a certain lane of people, whereas like they should be known by everyone, you know? Like they should be. And I guess I'm pointing out that like there's just not enough people who have an appreciation and understanding for like what these people are actually doing, like with their words, and they're giving back to us. Like these dudes did not have to come out and like really try and help and lead these next generation of people like us, entrepreneurs. Like they're really dedicating half their life to not just their own craft and their own lane, but now it's like, all right, now I'm going to try and set up these other people, kind of like how you and I are trying to do now. You know, like it says a ton, and it's like, why are we not like giving full appreciation? Like why are they not receiving more of an audience and more of an appreciation for that? You know what I mean? Like so many people now, it's like they just like scrolling over, like they'll listen to a video or something, they're just like kind of like whatever. They don't really listen to it. Like, bro, this is free shit that has no reason to be free.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like
Facts.
no reason. And we've talked about that before multiple times about YouTube, but like, bro, YouTube it can be a motivator tool in itself. Like, to be honest with you, like I think reading books is massive, but like you could get away with not reading books and like still become, like, you still learn a lot and still become highly motivated straight off YouTube. It's just a tool, or it's just a matter of like, who do you follow and who do you surround yourself with on that platform?
Yeah.
And if it's the right people and it's the right things, like, bro, that's game in itself. And a great example of that is like, if I like, there's this one defensive back trainer who's like the number one DB like private coach in the country right now. And his name is Oliver Davis, and his Instagram is IMOD. And he's trained everyone from like Jalen Ramsey, AJ Terrell, like all these different dudes. And he like just recently got on YouTube, and like he's posting a lot of like workouts and like just their video stuff on his page. And I'm trying to become a better like defensive back coach. Like I think I'm a very solid receiver coach, and I feel like that's my weakest link right now is just the DB stuff. And like I know my stuff, but like I just want to elevate my game a lot more. So I watch it. I'm not kidding you, bro. Like after every video I watch of his, like he's so passionate and he's so like just real about it. Like I leave the video like ready to go, like to work myself, like ready to go do things myself. You know, like it's that type of influence, because I'm open-minded to it, you know, and like that's what so many people struggle with, is like they're so comfortable and they're so set in their ways, and so like they have such a tunnel vision on the wrong thing, and on the wrong aspirations, the wrong things that they should be paying attention to, that like they kind of almost laugh and like joke around with like the people who are really sacrificing their things. Like for example, I heard one time like this kid was like making fun of Eric Thomas for like his passion, like his motivational videos or whatever.
Yeah.
I'm like, you know what this dude is doing for people? Like this is
Changing
probably one of the most
lives.
generous dude. Yeah, but it's one of the most generous dudes that you could think of. And like we got this dude, like this kid over here, like trying to make fun of him and trying to like just create laughs out of it. Like, nah, dude, this dude dedicated his life to helping people. Like that should be the most respected, like high paying job there is.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
like it's just that idea of like, because now I understand like the ability of self-sacrifice, like sacrificing your time for others. And like I'm dedicating my life to that too. And so I'm not like saying that to ask for a handout. I'm saying that because now I have a full, not full, but like a solid understanding of like what it's like and what it takes to do that. And I just feel like we need to show more appreciation and more like just respect for people like that. Because without them, like without them, I almost want to say like there wouldn't be as many of us in this field now. Like I would even say like I might have been probably a little bit more lost at this point than I would be without those. You know what I mean?
100%.
And so I'm like, I kind of had the mindset where it's like if I feel like that, there's got to be a lot of other people who feel somewhat similar to that.
100%.
You know what I mean? So
And I mean, you spot on. You spot on. Like, I think two things, like, is based off what you said. Like, I will go on YouTube and watch videos of a billionaire giving an interview, and it has 30,000 views, or not even 30, 10,000 views of a billionaire giving an interview, giving game on how he did it.
Right.
Literally videos on YouTube like that right now. And you know what I think it comes down to? You have to want it. You have to know what you want and really want it. And I mean, it's like from the Bible, like knocking you shall find, seeking you shall find, knocking the door should be opened, and whatever, you know the quote. And it's just like that. Like you have to seek and you shall find what you're looking for. It's just people don't want it. And even to take a step further, I think people don't think it's attainable. Like people don't think it's possible. I was just talking to a girl the other day. I'm like, do you have dreams? Like, do you, what do you, do you have stuff that you want in life? Like, is there stuff you want to do? Like, would you want to be a dream job, dream house, dream car, all this different stuff? Yeah, but that's just fairy tale. That's just never gonna happen. I mean, dang, fairy tale? Like, that's most people's mindset. Just like they're like, it's not possible for me. That's just not real. That's not obtainable. When really anything's obtainable, especially now. Like, bro, I do not kid you when I say Twitter changed my life. Like, changed my life in a crazy way.
In what aspect?
Life, like, bro, the people I follow on Twitter with 5,000, 2,000, 3,000, 15,000 followers that are just like really dropping so much game on life, like true geniuses. I will give them that regard. Like, I don't really throw that title, but like, bro, like true geniuses, like stuff that blows my mind about just how much they know about life. Like, and that's what always I was seeking. I wanted more wisdom. I wanted more knowledge, and somehow I just tapped into it. And, how to make money, how to be healthy, the fitness stuff, mindset stuff, meditation, journaling, just giving keys, and it's all free. Like, bro, it's crazy what we live in. Like, it's crazy.
For you, would you say Twitter or YouTube would be like the most influential for you right now, or a mixture of both?
I feel like my learning style is more YouTube. I like learning from videos better. I'm more of a visual and kind of audio person. But as far as the density of like what I'm learning, Twitter for sure. Like the actual more game, like more wisdom, Twitter. Like, bro, they just be dropping bars, like so much just actual game on life. And they have so little followings. Like, it's crazy.
That's crazy. Yeah.
Like, you really got to just want it and, seek that information and want to tap in and be curious. Cause like, I only found that quarter of Twitter from, you'll see like a repost of somebody else. Then I'll go on their page, then look at who they're following. and then I go follow them, and then their following starts reposting other stuff from people they follow, and then you just build this, ecosystem of just like
Yeah.
being curious, of just like, well, if this person knows this, who's they learning from? Then who's this? Who's this? Who's this? Follow everybody. Like just being
Right.
curious. And it just led, me to learning that. And I'm forever grateful for that. Like, bro, so much wisdom and just knowledge on these platforms, Um, it's crazy. And people are giving it for free. There's never been a time like this.
And yeah, that's a very good point. Something you said that I wanted to ask you about. You were talking about this girl that said it's just a fantasy, or it's like a fairy tale. Why do you think that is such a common thought, and what do you think feeds that in our society? Like, what encourages those types of ideas?
Um,
Because there's a lot to that.
mhm. I think the biggest thing would be the school system, education system. I feel like the education system did a bad job of giving us a perspective on failure, and I think that we held too much weight on it. We still do hold too much weight on it. So if you're not successful in that education system, a lot of people get discouraged, or they think that the education system is the only way to go into being successful. So it's like people have a false perception of success by going through the education system, get to that point to where they have the high figure paying job, the corporate job, all this type of stuff, and they're not happy. So that's one aspect of it. And then there's people that didn't do so well in the education system, and they got told in 7th grade that they were dumb and they failed because they failed a test or something like that. And then that just shot their whole self-confidence down and self-esteem.
And possibly their life.
Yeah. Wait, say
That's
again?
deep. No, I said possibly their life too.
Oh,
Like,
yeah.
I want you to keep going. I was gonna add real quick. Like, sometimes I feel like people hear those things in school, and then they let that define themselves forever. So they're never like that. Like, destroys their confidence and their positivity right then. So literally from then on, the rest of their life, they might live a life of like feeling like they're dumb, like working a job that feels like is equipped for someone who's dumb. Things like that. I feel like that's very deep.
Yeah, facts. And yeah, just upbringing. Like I was just talking to my mom about that, about just like the difference in upbringing and how she was raised impacted how she raised me, how that's going to impact, and like how different people have these different systems. It's just what they're told, just keeping it really honest. Like my whole life, I've been told that I was smart, that I could do anything in the world if I put my mind to, that I could always do better. Like I've never had that in my life of like less than. So like, and I'm so forever grateful for that. Like, because
That's all you know.
I didn't realize how much of an impact it had on me until you get into the real world and you hear stuff like that. Like, oh, that's fairy tale, bro. What? I think I could be a trillionaire. Like, I think anything's possible. Like, what? Like, we're as a Gary V quote. He was like, if you think something's impossible, you've already overcome the most impossible thing ever by being human. Like it's 1 to 400 trillion chance of being a human. Like you can overcome anything. Like that should tell anybody if just like anything's possible, bro. You're alive. Like just that fact is nuts. Like you were the one sperm cell that made it.
Right. Damn. Yeah, that's deep. And Gary Vee is like, he's just a goat for that, and that type of message of like just keeping it real and like humble. I feel like that's very eye-opening and at least very influential for me.
I mess with Gary so heavy.
I think one thing to add on to about touching with the just thinking or having everyone kind of being forced into like that middle class type of life of like comfort and understanding. Like one thing that scared me and began to scare me about that lifestyle, it was actually in that 10X book about Grant addressing like the middle class and like what's the problems wrong with like being the average, like happy, comfortable citizen is like, yeah, you might be the middle class, but like you're affected the most financially in our country. For example, like, because he was saying how like poor people, like most poor people, like get help from the government or aid from the government in some way, but the middle class is the one where like when in 2008 or whenever it was, when like we had a huge like a decrease in our economy, like the middle class was affected the most, right? Because we're on the borderline of like not too good but not too bad, and then obviously the rich like aren't impacted as much. So when I heard that, I was like, I really like that really pushed me into wanting to become more than just the middle class. Sorry, I don't know why the hell this is going off. But also they were talking about self-talk and like talk within our culture and within our society, and how everyone they like people were just laced with comments such as like, oh, like, don't you think you've been working too hard? Like, don't you think you need a break? Or like, don't you think you've been doing too much? You've been doing this, or like you need rest, you need this. And it's like those small comments, like I think those help keep people in shape and to stay in the average life, because when they hear someone else say that, they feel like comforted and they feel like, oh wow, if this person's saying that, like I should probably listen, you know? So it's kind of like giving them like a false, like fake cushioning, you know? And so it never really like people are so intimidated, and people are so like most people don't understand like a hard ass work ethic. And not like, I don't mean to generalize, like there are plenty of people who work their ass off, but like there's also a big group of people who don't like to do that and like to avoid it. And it all really stems from like culture talk and like just what's the talk like with other people within your family, your neighbors, your friends, people at the store, like all different types of things. Like people don't understand, to the majority, like what it really takes to get to the top and get to where you want to be. And really it's like you can't listen to many people's advice who haven't been there, or who, for example, like I saw this quote yesterday, and it's like you wouldn't trust someone's advice on how to get a Bentley if they're driving a Honda.
Facts.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And like that, take that with a grain of salt, because maybe the person likes Honda or whatever, but like for the most part, like you can't be listening to that advice, you know? And when I saw that,
hold on, I'm gonna let you go. I just want to, it reminded me of the Deontay Hitchcock bar he had in the song. He was like, you never touched the rim, but you think I'm finna let you teach me how to dunk. Like
same thing.
Yeah.
Same thing. You know, and it touches too to like what you're saying about Ed and about Grant. Like they have the resume, like they have the results. And I think that's very important, is just choosing who you listen to and who you give your mind to. And that's why that all connects to this YouTube talk and the Twitter talk, is like, that is a way to connect you with the people who really have done it, you know, because obviously it's hard to go out in society and just walk outside and try and find someone who's been there, you know. That's why this shit is so important, is because that is the place to do it for the most part. And then that can stem to leading to other people and other things. I would say, honestly, for the most part, like especially like with like post COVID, post quarantine, like since we're not able to like meet up with a lot of people, and like we're kind of somewhat still like we're just limited, I feel like, socially. That is why like you have to get on this, and I'm talking just the general people, like you have to get on to mentors who you don't know, you know, and like looking at them, like Nipsey Hussle is a mentor to me. He's no longer alive, rest in peace. And I've never met him in my life, but he's a mentor to me, you know, like Rick Ross is a mentor to me. Like these people, Grant Cardone is a mentor to me. I've never met any of these dudes. And it's like, but I'm like taking their game because that's literally what it's intended for, like for people like us. And yeah, like I owe a lot of my success and a lot of my mentality to people like that, because like they help shape my ideas, shape just my mindset, like who I am now, you know. So that's why I think it's time to stop ignoring those and scrolling past them and like kind of whatever, and like seeing the 30-minute long timeline and being like, like no, now it's time to like click on the video, have some self-discipline, watch the damn thing, take some notes on it, you know, because that's really when you make progress. Is like just something about this on the paper, and like mentally having to remember it while you're writing it down. It just does something. It just clicks. Whereas if you watch something and then you kind of like, let's say you watch it before you go to bed and you wake up, whatever, you're guaranteed probably not to remember some of it, unless there was like a line that really, really hits you. So that's my game on it.
And even like, that's all facts. And even like just like what you said about who you're comparing yourself to, and a lot of people say, you know, why you're going so hard, and you know, balance, and your kids are probably this and that. You know, a lot of the high performing entrepreneurs and stuff like that, they say that, or just in general, like people who say they're low energy, are typically the people that don't do much. And
Hmm.
the people that are high energy are usually the people that's always going. And
And
like,
are up early.
yeah, up early, always going, staying after it. The people who should have quote unquote the least energy because they're doing the most, they're usually the most energetic people that you could be around. You know, Gary Vee looks like he's always on crack. That's what he said. Like he always looks like he's drugged. People always think he's drugged up or something. He's just like, bro, I'm passionate. Like I'm just, I'm in
Yeah,
it.
real
Like I'm doing
talk.
what I love. Like, yeah. And it's like, I think that even goes back to something deeper. It's just like we're not made to be stagnant, like even as babies, like babies are going all day, bouncing off the walls, running around the house, just doing stuff, and
Yeah.
then crash out when they get tired, and then wake up and then do it all over again, and then just going all over the
Hmm.
house until society, their parents, the family
Mm.
members get to telling them, oh, sit down, blah, blah, blah. What you running around the house for? Sit down, blah, blah, blah. You doing too much. Sit down. All this type of stuff,
Yeah.
conditioning them to have that sit down, conform type of mindset. So, you know, it's just, self-awareness, knowing that you're made for more. Like, you're made to be God in human form on earth. Like you're made in his image, like do crazy great stuff. Like anything's, possible. I mean, as cliche as it sounds, man, it's the mindset stuff.
It's true, bro. It's just true.
Mindset stuff. Because
And
you'll
that's the
find out
thing.
after the mindset stuff, I think. Like you'll
Yeah.
find the ways. Go
No, I think that you're spitting. I think just that whole thing of the cliche, like it's cliche because people made it cliche.
ahead.
Like people, that's what I'm saying. But like people just like started to make a joke out about it and like started stop taking it seriously. Like, nah, it shouldn't be cliche. It's the straight up truth. Like it's the most easy way to tell you. It's just
Yeah,
the straight up truth,
yeah,
and it's funny because like
yeah.
you and me, and this is for like the audience, like we touch on self-awareness every single time we talk. So like by now, like people need to realize like that is the one of the most important things. And I personally, this might not be the truth, but at least for me, I didn't get anywhere until my self-awareness got onto 1,000.
Mm,
Like I did not make any moves. I was not in the right mindset until my self-awareness kicked in like all like overtime.
yeah,
And the way that I see it, this might not be for everyone, is if you don't have that self-awareness and you don't have that moment and that time period to check yourself, I don't feel like that can get started fully, especially if there are things that you're not okay with yet that inside of you that you're dealing with, and that's kind of touching like the mental health thing too, because that's kind of where I can speak from. Like you have to get that in check because if not, you're gonna be fighting way too many battles,
mhm,
and it's hard. Like, and that's the thing where I'm trying to I want to offer like a sign of sympathy. Like you can't put too much on your plate like that. When you go and you decide to go all in, like you got to be focused and there can't be too many distractions, like you got to be aware of yourself as a person first and make sure that mentally you're ready for that type of thing. And mentally you're ready for, like what you signed up for, because I'm just the person where it's like, there's no plan B, bro. There's no plan B. I have no clue if this were to, and this is not going to fall through, but if it ever would, like, I have no clue what I would do because I
yeah,
know that all my chips are in on this shit. Like my life is depending on this now.
yeah,
And I know that you're the same way. And that's
exactly.
really how it's got to be. Like there cannot be any doubt
Yeah,
because the doubt is going to come slow, like throughout the process. And I have glances of it still, and I will eventually for the next few years. The doubt will come. If you start with doubt before you even really get started, then when you start going through the process and the doubt piles up, it's going to be way more, than like if you
yeah,
start ready with all full passion and love, because
yeah,
then you can deal with that type of doubt, where it's like here and there, like small things.
yeah.
But like when you start already with half doubt, and let's say you add like two experiences of like doubtful times or whatever,
You
that's
might
like
quit.
25 more percent. You're at 100% doubt. Like,
Yeah, you
you know what I
might
mean?
quit
Like
at that point.
you
Yeah,
gotta this right here, bro. Like this does it all. Like,
yeah,
and what we were talking about like taking advantage of our resources, like, bro, this is crazy. And the reason I want to point out this real quick. My sister read this book, and I'm still trying to get put onto this book. It's all about the power of the brain and the mind. And they took this poll with people, and this was in England, I think.
what book?
I forgot what it's called. I'm so
Damn.
angry right now that I remember. Okay, but I'll text her and ask her for it, and we
All
can
right,
put it up on the next time we talk.
bet.
So they took two people, right, in England, and one of the people, and I hope I don't butcher this. One of the people, or both of the people, they're like, look, you're dying from cancer, right, or you have cancer or something like this, and one of them like really had it, and the other one didn't, or something like this. And the person who had it, like they gave them like a fake thing, a fake treatment, like it wasn't real treatment.
Yeah.
Their mind convinced them it was real, and they became healed from it.
That's the bar.
Like
That's the one. That's the one. That's the one. Like
yeah,
you could, bro, if you could sum it all up into something, that's the one. Like this shit. It's
Yeah.
the most powerful computer, anything. Like it's the most powerful thing in the world, bro. That's it.
And this is, and real quick, I don't want to butcher the other part. I forgot where this came from, but she was telling me this. Like another person didn't have it and was told it, and I don't know if this is in the same experiment, but they like really thought they had like 6 months to left to live, and they died. And nothing. The brain like has this power, and I forgot where that's from. So don't quote me too harshly on that. I know it happened, but I forgot exactly within the book where that happened. But dude, the brain has all the power. Has all the power over you.
That's so crazy. That's so
But
crazy.
I'll find the book, and like when we post the podcast, you can link it. You can link the book.
Okay.
But yeah, it's major.
Damn. Bro, that's crazy. I'm like, man, because I remember hearing stuff like that before I internalized it. And like you said, I would be the one scrolling and just like, oh, okay. More, make it cliche and just like not caring, but like you got to really internalize something like that. Like fully rid of himself of cancer just because he thought something would work.
Yeah. And he thought he was just working.
Yeah. Died because he thought he was gonna die.
Yeah.
Like think whatever. Whatever. Like
that's what the power of the brain can do. Like when you set it fully in on something with zero hesitation or doubt, like that's what people don't understand. Is like they don't understand
free.
Yeah.
It's
yeah. That's the crazy part. Yeah.
Bro, yeah. That's insane. I didn't mean to cut you off. I just wanted to blurt that out. But
no, yeah, we got to end on that.
Yeah,
we got to end on that.
That's a perfect note, man. I appreciate y'all for tuning in to this episode's podcast or this podcast episode, whatever. Yeah, hope y'all enjoyed. Y'all should know where to find us by now.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, y'all stay tuned for the next one. We got more bangers coming soon. Yeah,
appreciate you guys listening.
Anything else?
No, yeah, just appreciate the support, listening, because I know that sometimes we ramble, but what we got it's valuable. I swear it's valuable. So keep tuning in.
Yes, sir. Tap in. Y'all be smooth. Hope y'all have a blessed rest of your week. Catch you on the next one. Peace.